Clerk will read the next bill.
House Bill 2950 relating to family leave.
Question now rises upon third reading and final passage of House Bill 2950A. Representative Keny-Guyer.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Colleagues, 2950A seeks to amend the existing family leave law to include 2 weeks of personal bereavement leave for a direct family member's death. This counts toward the existing 12 weeks of unpaid leave. A family member is restricted to a spouse or domestic partner, parent, child, grandparent, grandchild, parent-in-law, or parent-child of a domestic partner. It excludes employers with less than 25 employees. It excludes employees with less than 180 days on the job and less than 25 hours a week worked in the 180 days before death. Loss of loved ones is recognized as one of the most stressful life events, and it may include additional trauma if the death is sudden or violent. Acute grief impairs functioning and interferes with the ability to perform routine work activities. Impairments may be dangerous in certain work environments. Handling of necessary practical matters immediately following the death takes time. Especially if it's immediate, it might mean getting your child to childcare. It also just means that there's time that's needed in addition to the mourning for making arrangements for things like childcare, for the funeral, for things like that. Some bereaved cannot afford the loss of income and prefer the structure of work and would not access this leave. Grieving employees often function very poorly. Those who are able to access leave often return to work better prepared to meet professional obligations. There is no additional leave time authorized by this bill. Again, I want to say this is unpaid leave, and protecting employees during acute grief is the humane, sensible thing to do. This is supported by such groups as AARP, Family Forward Oregon, Oregon Law Center, Oregon Association for Home Care, Oregon Hospital Association, and many, over a dozen specific hospice groups, many of whom are in your districts, Ecumenical Ministries of Oregon. The Associated Oregon Industries had some initial concerns. We addressed those to their satisfaction, which meant that there was strong bipartisan support coming out of the committee. So I urge your aye vote. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative. Further discussion? Representative Fagan.
Madam Speaker, to the bill.
To the bill.
Colleagues, 7 years ago today was the best lunch date I'll ever have in my life. My dad drove to Portland, picked me up at work, and we had lunch. Like always, we had a wonderful conversation full of joy and laughter. He was particularly excited about my admission to law school and my brother's pregnant wife, who would have been his first grandchild. After lunch, I linked my arm in his, and he walked me back to work. I gave him a kiss on the cheek, and that was the last time I ever saw him. Because 2 weeks later, he collapsed during his morning walk and died of heart failure. As you can imagine, I was devastated. I left work for a week and traveled to the Dalles to mourn and grieve and to prepare for his memorial service. When I returned to work for a large company and a good company, I was terminated. And not because this company was a bad actor, but because the mid-level manager who had that discretion didn't think that my time off was excused. And as I said, he had that discretion because there's no legal protection for taking time to grieve after the death of a family member. This bill changes that. It is a good bill, it is a compassionate bill, and I urge an aye vote. Thank you, colleagues.
Thank you, Representative. Further discussion? Seeing none, Representative Keny-Guyer, would you like to close? She does not. Those who are of the opinion the bill should pass will vote aye. Those opposed, no. Clerk will open the voting system. Representative Conger, how do you vote? Conger votes aye. Representative McLean, how do you vote? McLean votes aye. House Bill 2950A, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed.